Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Today is March 3rd, and this is another of our monthly SIG CLI bug scrub meetings. Our host is Eddie. So Eddie, take it away from here.
Awesome. Can you make me co-host, please?
Of course, quickly.
Okay. Sharing my screen. Okay. So let's start. You want to, yeah, PRs are a good idea. Do you want to go through the dashboard or look at the labels maybe?
Honestly, I was hoping that folks that have a particular PR that they want to get it looked at might bring them up. If not, I think we can just go through the usual ones. Yeah.
There's one PR. I have one that we can look at real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
If no one else has any. I haven't looked at it for a minute now. I don't know why my internet's being so slow. Or is it GitHub?
Cube has a code freeze. Everybody are very impatiently going through PRs, merging everything. So it might be possible that it's GitHub.
Oh, you already looked at this one. Okay. This was the node port for exposing deployments.
Yeah, I think there's basically, yeah, there's a create, well, close. There's a create node port. I think there's something missing. There's a create service node port, I think. Something along those lines. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I should probably fix my comment. There's a kubectl create service node port. So the functionality is there. Yeah, I'm trying to save expose from when we ended up with kubectl run. So
yeah, if it already exists, I do +1.
Yeah. So
okay.
And the author is okay closing this, so I think it can be closed easily. Let me actually do that, by the way.
Anyone have other PRs to look at? Brian has one.
I got one. It's not super urgent. It's the when you do kubectl version, it gives you a warning if the version skew is more than ±1 between the client and server.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's get that in.
I want to have that one.
Yeah, that'll hopefully save us a bunch.
It should be
yeah, I did find an existing. It's been a while since I touched this one. I did find an existing function that would return back the parsed out major and minor versions, so I didn't have to write my own parsing logic here, so that was good.
So you're gonna need to rebase because Bazel is no more, finally. And then this should be pretty good.
Gotcha. So I'll update it.
Yeah, just fix that one thing, and I'll leave the tab open, so I'll have a look at it right after it's rebased.
Cool. So I'll ping you on Slack.
Or that is probably the best option as well.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, big +1 to getting that in. Hopefully that diverts some issues.
Yeah, we've talked about it so many times that and I remember that I wanted to get it in and I forgot about it in the midst of other issues.
Okay, I'm gonna walk down our board if no one has any others they want looked at. So starting with 1013. Antoine commented on that. Okay, so it looks like Antoine says we need this.
So I spoke recently with the thing is, not sure if that's for pod, but basically the problem is that client-side validation for the built-ins mostly works okay. The problem is with the CRDs most frequently, where the logic for validating, we are using on the client side a different library than on the server side. I spoke shortly with Antoine last week and with Stefan about it. We want to switch the OpenAPI implementation that we currently have from Kube OpenAPI to Go OpenAPI. I can't remember, or the other way around, basically. And I don't know. If I make it for 121, it will be there. If not, then to a different one. I'll be in sync with Antoine. So if that's
Okay.
it's something that I'll be definitely tackling.
So do we want to accept this then?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, just like Antoine said, we want to make sure that the client validation can be weaker, but we can't have stricter validation on the client side than the server. So
The server, so you said client validation can be weaker, but server can't be.
Can be weaker than the server. Client, this basically the problem currently is that the server will reject it. The client will reject, the client-side validation will reject the object, but the server will accept it, which is wrong. We can have a different case where client will go. Ideally, we should not have problems, but it's okay if the client says okay and the server says no. It's wrong if it's the other way around.
Got it.
It sounds like this issue is the other way around, though. The server is rejecting and the client is accepting per the original description.
What's the number of it?
The example is like an end value of 1. The client's saying that's okay, and the server is rejecting it.
Thank you, Katrina, for calling that out. Yeah, I see. So dry run server validates. No, wait. Client, dry run client validates, dry run server does not.
No, okay, so in that case, if that's the case, then it's okay. Like the server is rejecting?
Yeah, the server is rejecting. They seem to be saying, like, in general, it's okay if the server, if the client doesn't catch everything that the server considers invalid, particularly because there are some things that the client just can't possibly know about. But the counter argument is that this is not one of those things. This is a thing that the client could easily detect. So why don't we help people out by detecting it? That would be how I'd summarize.
Oh, this is the value being an integer where it should be a string.
Yep.
In the environment variable. Oh. Um, Yeah, it's a valid issue. It's something that we could look into, but I think it might be related uh, with Open API implementation, because that's where we're basing the validation from.
Katrina, are you interested in looking at that one?
Maybe. What kind of timeline do we need to look at it on?
That's a good question.
I wouldn't say there's any strict timeline, Katrina. It's basically whenever you have time, you do it. There's no, oh, you have to look at it by then. That's not how we're working.
Okay. Yeah, that's me.
I'll tag you
Cool.
in if you get to it. That's okay too. Okay. Line 63. We talked about this last month. We said we wanted to have output that is machine parsable at some point in the future. If anyone wants this enough to own it, 9 months, Okay. So I'm just going to mark this as accepted. Oh, sorry, help wanted. Is it help dash wanted or just help?
I can't remember.
Yes, help. Okay. All right, that's out of the queue. We have one from Ricardo. Oh, this is the internationalization. I don't see a Ricardo on the call.
That's probably an ongoing effort. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. 110. Support show annotations.
I literally
We have-
closed something just recently of that kind, or I commented on that one. Oh yeah, I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, he even admitted that the code gets messy, which basically means and confirms I'm not super happy about adding those. I would want to see this to go through the process that Phil was talking last time, as in get sufficient number of people interested in that feature, and we can consider that one. Until then, the answer is no.
Yes. I think we can use triage.
Awaiting evidence, something like that.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. This is never easy to find.
Don't you
Awaiting
have-
more evidence.
Yeah. Don't you have the ability to label? I thought that you should have that on this repo.
No, but I can add myself as a right owner. Triage, I guess, needs information.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I don't think I can edit the labels yet. I'll look at that later. Triage. What did I say needs information?
Yeah, that, I think that was that.
Okay, perfect. Out of the queue. 1023. Validate certificate format. Okay, so I actually looked at this one and I implemented it, but it broke all of the tests. It literally broke almost every test because of how a lot of the older tests were written that weren't using like the testing factory and all that jazz. So this would take a bunch of tests to be rewritten to implement. I thought we could maybe print out a warning as a compromise for now. The code was pretty straightforward to do. You just import a library and validate it real quick.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. We can start with a warning and open an issue with help wanted, where we could get someone, interested parties, to actually fix all the tests that are failing. And then once we get over that and we have sufficient exposure, then this would just fail.
Okay. Yeah, I already wrote all that up, so I'll just PR it.
Awesome.
Okay. Kube control is really slow on Mac OS Big Sur. So Doug and I were looking at this, and this seems like something is going on where the user is loading from cache, or it's something wrong with his discovery. Where if we look at the output here, you can see that the config load output is here, and then the network request starts here. And that is what is that? Almost a minute difference in time. So I don't have a Mac OS Big Sur laptop yet.
I'm betting that his kubeconfig is this big that the loading is taking significant amount of time. I would check if, and that would be probably my first question. Have you
I asked him
tried
that actually. How many clusters users do you have in your kube config? They didn't answer that.
No, hold on. Can you scroll back a little bit? First time it works as expected, but when I do second call again, it takes more than 40 seconds. That's weird because a single call should not create such a significant difference on the cluster.
I reached out to a few friends who have Big Sur, and none of them reported seeing this. So it doesn't sound like it's that related.
Yeah.
Returning the cached values takes 15 seconds for each.
Yeah, but that's only for the discovery. it's possible that, so there are a couple things in place. We have a pretty strict limitation on the client side, where we're throttling requests to the Discovery API. But he should be seeing information about throttling requests when you're, which is very common when you're either requesting a first command, but after the initial cache filling in, the subsequent commands should be pretty straightforward, pretty fast, because we are reaching to a local one. So I would expect the first one to be rather long and the subsequent to be quick, because you're not reaching again.
What is this in Spain? This is in Spain. Okay, they're in the EU time zone. Let me see if they're on Slack, because this would be easier to just dig in together. Okay, I can dig into this one. I'll leave this open for now.
Okay.
Sort by is not sorting by as expected, 1019.
I'm not sure if sort by is working properly with the custom columns, or if there's a bug. Something tells me that if I start looking into the code, there will be a to-do fix for custom columns.
Okay. And that is the main one. Oh, kube control diff external commands. Doug is assigned to this.
I remember that Doug was changing something wrong. Sure, so.
I need to check. He says that if he uses subcommand, it doesn't work, the environment variable. And he opened a bug in the kube control init, and it become a shell script. So I was wondering if it's something that we should handle or not. But looks like he replied, and he wants to that working the environment variable.
Is this just about managed? Oh no, it's about environment variables, or
It's about yeah, it's about that he wants to use a subcommand in the kube control diff.
oh, I see.
I will try to solve this one this week. If you guys have anything to share about this one, would be nice.
Has he tried quoting the variable, the value behind the variable?
If I try to record it,
Quote it. Put the value in quotes when you're exporting the kubectl channel diff.
I believe I tried, but not using a subcommand as he wants to do.
I remember that you were working on something, Doug, to extend the diff.
Yeah, I was working on, so that's why I got this one. And I was surprised that he wants to use a subcommand, because so far I never saw anyone using it.
Well, there's a simple workaround. Create an alias, and that should work.
Yep.
Hey, Brian, do you remember there was a PR that we were going back and forth on for a bit, and it changed the way that args were ordered? And it's like a year ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who worked on that.
I thought it was Gabby Fisher, but it wasn't coming up.
No.
Okay.
But that name doesn't sound familiar. But I want to say it was a couple months ago, and it was on the overall.
This one, C. Murphy.
Yes. Yeah. Colleen. Yep.
We ultimately didn't merge it.
Yeah, I remember. No, we didn't merge that one. I think I complained on something on that PR. I can't remember where that ended up being. Yeah, I think there was some edge cases which were problematic.
Okay. I feel like all of these things are related. Whenever we have these args ordering stuff. All right, Doug, you said you'll take a look at that. We can always ping Colleen and see if she'd be interested in picking that up and looking at it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's it for the main queue. These are all old. This sounds relevant. Cube control should more consistently and concisely convey discovery. 2017.
That's from Clayton. I'll take it. I'll take it.
You already have it.
I'll have a look at it. 123.
Recent issues. Here we go. 1025. Can't read certificate authority from named pipe. That sounds interesting, actually. Anyone want to take a look at this? This sounds like a fun one to play with.
If there is no volunteer, I can do it.
Okay, I will. Okay, 1027 from yesterday. Support selectors in kube control rollout restart. That does sound like a reasonable feature request. Is that just a matter of implementing the factory in there? It's probably not using factory right now, or the builder.
There's a little bit more logic behind rollout.
Mm.
And the way it is watching rollouts happening. So I'm not sure if that's feasible and that quickly.
I'll take a peek at the code and I'll label it later. Cool. Okay, that's it for the main queue. We have Chris on the call. Chris, is there anything for crew or anything y'all want to take a look at before we jump into the main repo?
Not from the crew side, as far as I'm aware.
Okay. No customize. Sean, anything you want to look at for customize?
I think the biggest one for customize is the bump.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what Mache said. So they're getting customized into kube control is a massive PR that's been ongoing with feedback for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Jordan's on it, so there are some concerns, but I think it should go through.
It sounded like there was a concern about security concern about Starlark, the virtual machine being included. I had a quick question while we're looking around. Mache and Brian were really generous in giving me time to work to look at the KEP 859 PR to implement kube control headers. And now I had to, when the CI ran again, I had to run update internal imports or something like that. And it changed a GoSum file in code generator, which is outside of SIG CLI. And then I had to update another one, which had like 27 other GoSum changes. Is anybody seeing that? Is anybody seeing that recently?
I think it's a today's issue.
I could just wait then and then get a.
Right, I was poking into SIG release channel. It seems that it's related with a PR that was bumping one of the recent dependencies. It started happening around, and I'll throw my time because that's where I remember that. I think somewhere around 4:30, 4 p.m., which will be 10 Eastern time. I think there was a PR around that time.
Okay, yeah, I'll just sit back then and wait to see if once it resolves itself.
Let me quickly see if SIG release managed to come to conclusions. If I remember correctly, Jordan was suggesting that we need to have some test image be rebuilt with once that merges, things should get better. That's from 15 minutes ago. This PR. I pasted that one in the chat. That's
Okay.
like 15 minutes ago. If that merges, that we should be good. So you'll have to just wait a little bit longer.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. It looked like something changed in our infrastructure. Yeah. And when that merges, we should be good. So, just wait patiently until after that merges. And then you'll have to rebase most likely.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
It's a freeze rush.
Yeah. There's no matter how long the release is, it's always going to be a rush at the end.
Yeah, totally. No. The worst part is it is always the past couple of days. And I'm always thinking that with every single release, it's getting worse and worse. I don't know, but it just may be my impression.
Where do we stand on building kube control out of tree?
I haven't touched the topic yet.
Okay.
Theoretically, it's possible because hold on, are we building kube cutout from? Yeah, kube cutout is already out of tree. So if you take a dependency or if you take the kube cutout sources, it should build. But there are some.
I don't think it has the entry point, the command entry point, does it? No, there's no command yet.
I think it did.
Is this?
Oh no, sorry, it does not. But that's yeah, the main is in the main repo. We should probably move that one over.
Yeah, we probably have to coordinate with SIG release to do that probably, right?
I was just recently changing because it turned out that the kube control convert wasn't part of the release, which should be fixed. There's one other thing that I promised Jordan to do is I'll put the kube convert as a plugin in the crew index as well, so that it's easy to find for folks.
Okay. Anyone have anything else they want looked at? Otherwise, I'm just going to start walking through issues in the main repo. Okay, this is 99616. Here, did we pass 10,000 yet? Oh no, 100,000's next. Oh wow, we're almost there.
Yeah, I have a secret plan. I should probably not share. I have a secret plan to have a tiny little PR, on a side, and when it'll be close to 10,000 that I can open and grab the 10,000. But I'm not the only one.
Revert the Basel thing on this 10,000 just to make Stephen Augustus crazy.
Okay, so proxy reject paths can't be empty.
There's a PR for this one.
Awesome.
And I actually have it in my queue.
Good.
For review.
Who's assigned? You're assigned. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be looking at it.
Okay. YAML file saved as JSON.
I just tried this using that command and I did not see the problem. So I wonder if it's a version thing, an older version or something.
Yeah, someone else did that too.
I'm inclined to close it, given that we have at least 2 other people saying that it works fine with the current version, which might be sufficient indication that someone is using an older version. I'm thinking that maybe once we have the version from Brian spitting the error, we should update the templates so that they always talk about including server version, client and server version. Although I think they are already.
Yeah, the template already asks you to put that in there, but I guess we could increase the language to make it more suggestive.
Alternatively, we just have to be a little bit more aggressive, closing the ones that are missing those, which maybe not nice, is a way for us to teach the users to be to just be, you know, play nice with us, because yeah.
The other thing I want to do as soon as we can build kube control out of tree is we can divert all kube control related issues to that repo, so we're not split like this.
I'm even inclined to do it right away. We don't even have to, because we are trashing majority of the issues in kubectl. I would leave the existing ones where they are, and you know, push everyone else to use the kubectl repo.
Brian, do you want to include that in your change for the version warnings? Or did I misunderstand? Are we not making a change?
I'm sorry, include what in the warning?
Directing people to open kube control related issues in the kube control repo. Sorry, the template, the issue template for the main repo.
No, I would do the template change in a separate PR. That will have to go most likely through through a different approvers. And
That's fair.
And I don't want to block that one.
Okay, I will do that. Add hint suggestion in kube control get command. Add a hint or notification while using
That is good, but I don't think we're gonna do it. Basically, it would require you to go through the entire cluster and figure out that maybe you wanted something else, which is, it's simple when you are doing, for example, if you make a typo in the get command, for example, Cobra does it because it knows all the possibilities, so it suggests. Yeah. But that, did you mean, is something what Cobra already does for us, if I'm correct? But I'm not sure if that would be feasible within the cluster scope, because you would basically have to have, you would have to know your options and then do a fuzzy search based on the name of the namespace and the pod. It's feasible, but it will basically require kubectl to do additional requests on every error.
I'm actually just curious how this is even implemented. Probably just magic Ruby metaprogramming.
No, it's a Levenstein distance. That's what it's called, and it basically looks at the different letter variations in a word. But you have to build, you have to have a dictionary as an input.
Right.
And it basically calculates how far two words are from each other, and and you specify what the distance is, what's the accepted distance between the two words are, and it will propose you just that. Cobra does it for us automatically, if I remember correctly. yeah, if you do, for example, kubectl git, it will say that git is unknown command. Did you mean set, get, edit? Wait. Oh, just try kubectl git in your CLI, and you see it in action.
Yeah, I see. So they want that for their cluster?
Yeah, for namespace.
For namespace.
Yeah. To basically, to make it work, it would have to, you invoke the command where you put a wrong namespace. Upon getting an error, and the error can be for multiple reasons because you might not have the necessary access rights to a namespace, which is one possible issue. You actually made a typo in the name or a couple others, and on seeing the error, we would have to build a dictionary of possible values, which basically means, yeah, we would have to have a list of all possible namespace that you have access to. And then we would be trying to match something. And yeah, it's not something that we want to do. I'm not sure if any of the commands that I'm aware of does it for you.
Yeah.
It,
Reasonable request, but not feasible at the time. Cobra implements this command, implements for your cluster. We need to make a bunch of requests to build a dictionary to check against.
yeah. And then there's still the option that you just lost access for whatever reason. And there's a reason that our API does not give you information about whether something exists, but you don't have access, and something does not exist. You can't differentiate it. This is to prevent random attacks against your cluster, because if you knew the difference, you could basically do a dictionary search against all possible namespaces, and you can build what the cluster looks like. This is similar to rejecting your login attempt with saying your login and password is incorrect instead of saying that your login or password is incorrect, which suggests
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree. That has both security and scalability issues, even though if it sounds on the surface like a UX nice to have,
yeah.
especially like it almost sounds like they want it to suggest like, oh, that was a valid pod name, but that pod is actually in a different namespace, which would be even worse because that'd be totally not feasible at all.
We are already getting blamed for privilege flag in the kubectl run. Jan Coldwater is having a blast after I merged .pr, but you still have to be explicit about saying -- privilege when you're invoking kubectl run, and that would be so much worse. So I would not sign off any PR being even remotely close to something like that.
This is one that has come up a lot before about return codes. Do we have a meta issue for return codes?
I wanted one to be created some time ago. I don't remember if we have. But yeah.
So my understanding for diff is that 1 is an error and 2 or above means that there's differences, and 0 means no difference, something like that. So Antoine implemented something specific error code, exit code wise for kubectl diff.
Yeah, but that's only kubectl diff. What Eddie is asking is, I wanted to see a cap which outlines various. So for example, if you work with, I don't know, curl or any of the Unix tools, they have a set of
There's a
predefined
POSIX
predefined error codes. We don't have anything like that for kubectl. So it would have to be, someone has to write a cap, and then we would slowly apply that across the entire kubectl. So that whenever you get an error code, doesn't matter which command you're working with, and you see 1, 2, 5, whatever, it is clear because it will be consistent across the code, across the kubectl. It might be that yeah, that's another one. I found 2 additional issues, but they are both closed from way in the past. The one that I found is 26.424 and 34.633. But they were usually contained to a particular command. We don't have a global. Maybe it's time to open such a meta issue and close everything else and just point to that particular issue. And, you know, help wanted.
Yeah, that's a big undertaking.
It's more about somebody has to write a cap. We need to have an agreement how it will look like. And then the implementation, it will take a good couple of months, and it can be driven by multiple people, similarly to what's happening with generators in the create world. We have at least 10 people, if I remember correctly, working on getting rid of the generators in the create, and I think we're almost there. Ricardo can prove me wrong, but I think we tagged last PR yesterday, Ricardo, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess that's the last one. I was going to make some tests to see if the generators can be removed at all.
Yeah, and I have some generator related and dropping run related flags, which somehow connect with all that. And I started putting together APR, but I didn't finish that one. I'll try to do it today, tomorrow. Will be nice too.
So I can probably take a look into this cap and this one. I just need to remove the localization thing that I guess it's going to be fast, but like I am with pretty low bandwidth. Otherwise, I can try to write, because the idea is to write a cap with the return calls, right?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay.
It's just about putting together a document with proposed codes that will apply across the board for all the commands. So it will require a little bit of digging through all the commands so that it does make sense. Then we will have to agree on those error codes. And if we get the agreement, then it'll take some time for implementation. Currently, we only state that there is a 0 for success and non-zero for any error. So it won't be breaking any API. But we would have the ability to specify a little bit more concretely what the error means, instead of just saying, yes, it's an error, no, it's not an error.
Sounds good. Yeah, I can write a cap for the exit code normalization. Sure.
Cool, awesome.
Cool. And with that, we're out of time.
Okay. Thank you very much, y'all. As usual, it was very productive and nice seeing you all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, team. See you next week.
Thank you, folks.
Bye.